So I am a board certified obstetrician. I've been practicing in Texas for 25 years. So I've cared for women, I've delivered many babies, but I've also, unfortunately, cared for many women who've been harmed by abortion, particularly chemical abortion. Now I am fortunate to be able to work full-time for the Charlotte Lozier Institute. This is a think tank that is dedicated to issues of life, science and statistics, and it is wonderful to have the opportunity to talk with people about the things that they don't know, to educate them on what American Christians do not understand about abortion. This is a human rights issue. The unborn human is without a doubt a genetically distinct person. Half of those are male, half are female. So of course, everybody should be able to speak to a human rights issue. And also, the men are the fathers of those pregnancies. So absolutely, this is an issue that they should be involved in.
So no uterus, no opinion, that doesn't apply?
Human rights issues affect all of us, and we can talk about all the details, but women, many times they pursue an abortion because they have been abandoned by the father of the child. So men absolutely should have a voice in this decision. We need to back up a little bit in our country, because I think what we see is that people point to the really sad, tragic situations, which we all have sympathy for, and yet they're doing it to justify ending human life for largely social and financial reasons. So we can work upstream, we can talk about relationships, we can talk about how do you prevent an unwanted pregnancy. Those are things that we've been ignoring because readily available abortion has been out there, and so we have not done the hard work to discover how should we care for women. And as an obstetrician who loves women, I've just seen so many harmed. So we need to really have these hard conversations. All through the Bible, we see that God created us in our mother's womb meticulously, carefully. He had plans for us from long before our birth. But I want to go back to what you said about wanted abortions. Dr. David Reardon just published a study that has amazing information that only a third of abortions were actually wanted by the woman. A quarter were coerced, and 2/3, including that coerced fraction, were women who felt that the abortion was not consistent with their values. So what happens is women, going back to how can we help, let's talk about God's plan for sexuality, which is not promiscuous intercourse outside of a relationship, so that if a child does happen to come into existence, that couple can then, do the right thing and care for that child. But 2/3 of the women experiencing abortion in our country, almost 1 million every year, didn't really want it. It was not consistent with their values. And that's something that is a problem, and we should be talking about it. This is not a desired thing for almost every woman. Well, I think that it's important to realize that we can go back to biology. Science supports a pro-life position. I mean, that baby is a miraculous creature from the beginning. But women are hormonally primed to bond with their child from long before birth. Dopamine, oxytocin. We have so many ways that even if the woman is in a situation where she thinks, no, I can't continue this, it's harmful for her. She has bonded to that child, whether she wanted to or not. So that's just important for us to be discussing. And of course, chemical abortion, we may not have time to discuss that much, although we have a lot of information on our website, is now being promoted to college students and to outside of any medical supervision. The FDA has allowed just basically a free-for-all. They can order it online, get it over the internet without ever seeing a doctor. No longer is it between a woman and her doctor. And in reality, it never really was, because 90% of obstetricians do not do abortion. Yeah, right now there is a widespread promotion of chemical, or some people call them medical abortion. Of course, there's nothing medicinal or health promoting about them. 2 medications, mifepristone shuts off the hormonal support to the baby and kills him, and then misoprostol essentially induces labor. This is more than half of the abortions in our country. They're being promoted to women as safer than Tylenol, as natural, comfort of their own home. But the reality for women is most will bleed for 2 to 4 weeks. 40% describe the pain as severe. Many women see their child's body in the toilet. So that's the move of the future, but also surgical abortions can hurt women. 10% of the abortions are after the first trimester. So these are times when babies have the ability, in many cases, to feel pain. 1% of the abortions in this country are after a baby can live separated from his mother. We're up there alongside China and North Korea. We're one of only 7 countries in the world that will allow the elective death of a child for elective reasons after he can live separated from his mother. Every person watching this needs to educate themselves. They need to learn what the Bible says about unborn human life, and believe me, the Bible talks a lot about it. They need to educate themselves on how women can be harmed, and also on the extremism that our country allows. But we need to be having these discussions. I think if the average American truly understood the issue, they would be in favor of limiting it much earlier than we do.